It's fine. I'll just fix it real quick. It's fine.
Okay.
I'll just live after I fix this. Just realized I have this the wrong size.
All right. We should be live.
All right. Nice.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Roundtable. We have a bunch of all-stars here. We have Crypto Randall. We have, I'm sorry. We have Crypto Love, Crypto Love, Bitboy Crypto, Coach K. We have Bill as usual, Ian Bellina. We have an all-star cast here to give you the next coin, Crypto TA, Bitcoin TA, answer all your questions, any questions you have. Let's get into it. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome. How are you guys?
What's up?
What up?
All right. So let us know if we're live. Just post in the comments. This is going out to all our channels. So we're bringing together the entire crypto world together for this weekend on a Sunday. Yes, it's football. Football is back to all our American audience. All right. What's up, Diego? What's up, King Nick?
We're egos.
Only crypto nerds want to talk crypto on Sundays now. Okay, guys, that's fact.
How about those Falcons?
It's true,
bro. It's bad. I get hyped up every season. It's the same stuff over and over again. We move up and down the field the whole game. We look like we're as good as the other team. We just shoot ourselves in the foot constantly. We do a fake punt. We get it, and we fumble. That doesn't tell the whole story right there.
Yeah.
It's rough.
All right. Okay, so I think let's kick things off. How about everybody just kind of doing quick intros? How about you, Ben? Let's have Bitboy go first. Quick intros. Talk about your channel.
Yeah, so I'm Ben from Bitboy Crypto. If you don't know my channel, I'm a 37-year-old man who goes by Boy, Bitboy. I don't know why that is the case. Yeah, so I've been in the space, been invested in Bitcoin since 2012. I've been in the space creating content since 2018, early 2018. And, we try to make the best content on YouTube. That's what we try to do. I say we because I have a whole team of people that works with me to bring the latest and greatest crypto news, updates, coin research to my audience. Awesome.
I mean, so besides being a great affiliate with our Tokenmetrics, it's been a pleasure watching Bitboy's channel blow up in the last 1 year. Because I recall the first time I was on your channel was last year. I think you had me on for an interview, right? And back then you were kind of like on the come up. But man, I mean, Bitboy's now on top of the crypto world.
Good man. Sure is.
All right. Then Crypto Love, off to you.
Hey, what up? I'm Randall from Crypto Love. And I like to have fun on my channel, educate, and make a couple videos a week right now because I'm working full-time as a veterinarian. And
back to the vet work. I didn't know that.
Yeah, back to vet work. And let's see, basically to help accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can before this thing takes off. And then what else? Oh yeah, I've been making videos since 2017. I also got into crypto in 2017, and that's it. And this is my actual room. It's in my mom's basement. It's the basement window right up there.
Awesome room. All right, so from the mom's basement to the TV set. Coach K, yeah. How are you?
What's up? I'm good. How's everyone doing? I'm Coach K. I bought my first Bitcoin after friends bothered me a lot about it. Bought 2.5 in 2013. Saw it drop like immensely and thought it was a scam, and came back in the space in early 2017 when people told me, hey, it's actually gone back up. And yeah, I started making videos. I was a teacher at the time, so I felt like there's a lack of education or lack of easy understanding for people that were coming into the space, trying to help them avoid scams. And yeah, I've been a fundamental and technical analyst in crypto, and TA started in high school. So it's been a long time just like looking at charts and understanding them. And yeah, I like helping people get into, good projects and help them understand what they are and, give them the technical analysis behind all that. So yeah, I'm Joe.
Awesome, Joe. So actually, Joe reminds me of where Bitboy was a few years back. So kind of early stage on the come up, but keep an eye on Coach K's channel. All right. then Bill.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill. I work with Ian. I got a legacy background. Don't hold that against me. For 12 years, I was Goldman's underground newsletter. So I was in a glass case that said break glass in case of extreme volatility. So I was like the equities therapist, and they would deploy me to help them with extreme volatility. Now, of course, in crypto, extreme volatility is every day, right? Oh, it went down 60%. Okay. Hey, want to go to lunch? You know, it happens all the time. So in 2017, I got a call from some of my ex Goldman readers, and they said, "Hey man, you got to take a look at crypto. You got to, we want to see like whatever you do, we want to see it for crypto." And I was totally hooked. Actually started keeping the charts by hand, pencil.
Wow.
All right. And, you know, I got my crypto cred. I started working with Charlie Shrem. And then I moved over to Ian, and, you know, I'm in crypto and I'm never leaving. So as Coach K said, any good technical analyst really wants to help people at the end of the day. And that's how I feel about it.
All right. Awesome team. Awesome team. And for those who don't know me, I'm Ian Bellina. I'm the founder of Tokenmetrics. Also friends with the whole panel here. I've been in crypto since 2016. Give up my job at IBM and working in IBM Watson Analytics to go all into crypto in 2017. People know me from vlogging and just creating content in the crypto space since 2017. I was known for publicly posting my crypto portfolio, basically Blockfolio at the time. Was posting it daily. People saw me turn about 20 grand into 5 million transparently. Some people also know me from my spreadsheet, which has now evolved into what's now tokenmetrics.com, where we bring together analytics, AI, and experts like Bill to help people really get insight and help them with crypto investment research. All right, so with that being said, let's kick things off. So let's begin with Bill. Bill, kind of tell us your take on the market, then we'll have everybody else also kind of chime in.
Okay, so the big question for the market is, who is doing all this selling, right? So I dig into this, and let's consider two possibilities. One is higher capital gains taxes, right? And what that does to whales, right? The election's a coin flip. So if you made a bunch of bank in crypto, do you take the money? Okay. You don't have a 60% decline just because small investors sell. Then there's another angle. So I'll step out on the plank that it didn't get a lot of attention that the Russians outlawed Bitcoin for payment in July. And I'm also seeing reports that a huge crypto mining country, North Korea, is in serious trouble. And I remember in 2018, the big sellers at the end of the year was people selling for tax reasons and miners and big players bailing all at once. So what does this mean? Well, I think it means that you could get a better opportunity or a great opportunity to get involved in this market if you can hold off and wait while these big guys do their thing. Okay. Because, you know, this last rally could have like pulled a bunch of people in, right? Okay, here we go again. And then they wake up this morning and they're like, right. So that's how I would characterize what's going on big picture.
All right.
Nice.
Anybody want to chime in with their take on the market?
Well, Bitcoin right now, it looks like I was calling it on Friday. It looks like it's probably going to fake out, fill the upper gap from the CME, and then come back down. Too many people on Twitter were saying, hey, it's going to go up. When everyone says this, or everyone was saying it's going to go down, when everyone says that, I generally start to look at the market and look at other opportunities. So I thought, yeah, we'll probably fake people out, get them bullish. All of a sudden, you see over the weekend, crypto Twitter gets very bullish again. And what do we see? $300 drop really quickly before we even open on Monday. So it's an interesting one to look at. And we also have all the altcoins just massively dumped before that even happened. So it's weird to see the altcoins and the Bitcoin dominance start to rise out of nowhere. It seems like they were really strong and then they're really not. especially YFI and YFII. They had a really big dumps today. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing so far right now.
I got a
Alright,
couple of
people-
speculations on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how about there was an irrational exuberance about the market for a while, and now there's a bit of a correction. And with the irrational exuberance, there was a lot. I mean, there was a huge price action, but the overall market cap didn't really move. So just people buying and selling the same coins with, I think, yield farming going on, and people not knowing the reasons why. Also, in the US, the free money ended. So people were getting $600 a week to sit at home and do nothing. And that ended a few weeks ago. All of a sudden that ended. Bitcoin prices dropped because they ran out of that money. Now they got to take the money out of Bitcoin to start paying their bills. And then, Bill, with what you were saying with a couple countries having Bitcoin, like hard times with Bitcoin, also what's going on in China with the floods. They have a whole bunch of mining facilities out there in the wave of those floods they have out there. And potentially some of those miners could be liquidating what they have to try and move their facilities.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
There's also, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I would say that Bill, I think you're wrong about when it comes to what's going to happen in the near term with people wanting to sell for, capital gains taxes and things like that. September is by far the worst performing month for Bitcoin. It's not November, it's not December, where people are trying to get some of that stuff in at the end of the year. I wish I had the image I could show you that compares all the months. November is the most volatile month for Bitcoin, but September, I don't think there's ever been a green September. I think literally it's only been downs. I don't think it's ever had a green September. So this is just one of those times where we're coming out of the summer where, a lot of people are expecting things to heat up for quarter four. I did a video. I posted it yesterday on the channel, and I just feel like, I don't know, like sometimes I just want to bang my head against a wall when we talk about how in sync the Bitcoin cycles are with each other. And we are like dead on the last cycle. If we were to fill the gap, if we were to drop to 9,600, then that would mean that we would still be net positive 12% over the closing date, the day of the halving. The last cycle, it was 11%. And we're really exactly where we should be. I don't think it has to be kind of like reasons for each one of these sell-offs when we get these big sell-offs outside of just the principle of the cyclical nature of Bitcoin. If you go back to 2016 to 2017, there were 7 drops of 30% or more. Seven. In January of 2017, not 2018, in January of 2017, Bitcoin dropped like 40% in 2 days, So I think we're just fulfilling about where we should be. We're tracking right along with where we should be. I don't think that there's going to be some gigantic sell-off and all of a sudden the price is going to go down because psychologically the CME gap exists and none of us are going to feel comfortable having the price push forward until we fill that gap. Now, when we were at 12,000 and we were, looked like for a day we might stay above 12,000, where we were, I think we got up to like 12.5, so something like that, definitely over 12.3. And then of course it pushed down big time. At that point, I was starting to think that maybe we would fill the CME gap after the bull run. But think about how scary of a proposition that is. If we go to $200,000 and people are thinking like, we're going to correct down to 9,600 and that'll be the rallying cry. People will say that all over Twitter. It'll be like, remember, it's going to go down to 9,600 and stuff like that. So it's really better for us in the long term if we do fill the gap. And it's technical analysis is difficult to learn. Anybody can, if there's a legend on the chart that shows like, this is the RSI line, you can see the RSI line, but to really understand it takes a lot of studying. I ain't got time for that. Personally, I'm not really that interested into it. I'm more like fundamental analysis, as the day is long. However, when it comes to the CME gap indicator, if you will, when anyone looks at that chart, they can see the gaps. You can see them. like anybody can see them. You don't have to have somebody tell you, like, look at this giant gap in the chart. If you're in crypto, you're not used to seeing those. And so I feel like it's a concept that everybody can understand, even that like most novice retail investors, when it gets explained to them, they can understand it. I think that for some reason, even though there is no fundamental correlation between these CME gaps and them acting as the magnets that they do, the fact is we all accept that as truth at this point. We've made the correlation psychologically. So that's just what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to have to go down, fill that gap. Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll be right on target for where we should be. And we should be hitting new all-time highs in December, according to last year or the last cycle.
Interesting.
All right. Very interesting. Yeah. So I would say I probably agree with that as well. So right now, just kind of looking at it from our perspective with the models and the AI, they're very bullish. They're very bearish on Bitcoin this month, right? So until that changes, because even our price prediction models have Bitcoin going as low as possibly 8,100, right? So I think people definitely should buckle up. This could be a pretty rough 1 to 2 months, especially as we get closer to the election. I think that's also something where lots of people, especially in equities, might go on the sidelines, which might pretty much push things for Bitcoin until probably Thanksgiving and Christmas, because that's typically when people like to kind of FOMO into crypto, right? So I think kind of that same time frame reminds me of 2017, right? Kind of as Bitboy mentioned, things were pretty bearish historically in September, but as we kind of get past Thanksgiving and get into Christmas, people go back home, they start telling the family about the gains in crypto, and this kind of, I think, just word of mouth, people began to kind of evangelize and get more into Bitcoin and crypto. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody with any other comments on that?
Yeah, some statistics. September is a horrible month, but if you look at like traditional election years and like the traditional equities and basically legacy finance, those are really bad months. September and October, every election year. Actually, October is the worst month of the election years ever. Throughout history. So I've talked about that on one of my videos to kind of break down like why September could be bad, similar to what Bitboy's talking about. And, when you really like analyze the data and then you go to you look at your technical analysis and then you go at things like Tokenmetrics and they're all saying down. I mean, I told people before at $12,000, buckle up, we're going to have a correction. This is normal. We're going to probably go to like 9,600, 8,400, somewhere in that range. So be ready for it, either short or go out of the market and hold the USDT. You can buy more Bitcoin, but it's obviously their choice. But this is what I was saying to like my good friends, like, this is what I'm going to do. And, you guys do whatever you want, but at this point, I think it's been a right decision, and we'll have to just wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if I'm still correct. But right now, it was a smart decision, and I think waiting and being patient is the hardest thing for everyone. Whether you're a technical or fundamental trader, is the patience can really kind of wean on you, and when the second you switch your bias just because you're impatient, you usually get wrecked pretty hard from those decisions. So my advice, if it's not financial, is just like, as a person, be patient. Don't be in a rush to do anything in life. If you think something's going to happen, just use your gut. And if it's telling you something, listen to it.
Wait, are you telling me that FOMOing in is a bad idea?
No, it's the greatest idea ever. What about risk management? I don't see many people talk about that either.
That's because it sucks. Let's go big or go home. One thing that I've been, really thinking about is, I'm going to admit something right now. I'm going to reveal Bitboy's strategy. I sold a lot of the top. About a month ago, and still have altcoins I'm holding, switching strategy on some stuff, but I sold top. It started feeling a little like, what's going on here? So definitely the majority of my crypto holdings I still have, but I did it. And I could not have imagined how great of a decision that would be. When I did it, I was doing it because I had some stuff going on. I was getting ready to buy a house. I was doing some other stuff. And so I said, you know what? I think right now things are going so well. I need to take some profits right now. So I took the profits, and then the market crashed. I crashed the market, guys. It was me. But the market crashed after that, pretty slowly but surely. Not all of a sudden overnight. But that decision that I made to do that was so great for me that it reminded me that when we had 7 drops of 30% in 2016 and 17, we get too caught up in looking at the absolutist, vision of bull and bear. It's either a bull market or it's a bear market. That's it. But when you really can make the money, when you can really take advantage of the trends, is when you can sell the top and buy the bottom over and over again in that bull market. You want to do, mostly what the trend is doing. So we believe the trend is generally going up. So when the price starts going up, take some profits, and then they go down, buy back in if you have money on the sidelines, or, and I think that is one of the main things that separates someone who's able to make the maximum amount of money during a bull run versus the other people. Because you got to remember, anytime that you're making money, someone else is losing it, right? Because somebody's out there, buying and selling, doing the opposite of what the market is doing. And we know the retail investors usually lose. And I think that's one of those things, forgetting to take profits even in a bull run. That's one of those things that I think really kills retail investors generally, because we all know hodling is the dumbest strategy in crypto, because you will always end up with no money, like always. If that's all you do is hodl, eventually you will end up with no money. So you got to remember to take profits even when things are good. That's really when you should be taking them, obviously.
Now, I mean, I'm just kind of, I kind of do agree with that, but partially, right? I think if you hodl the right coins, you can make money, right? Like somebody who hodled Bitcoin from $1 made money, right? But if we're talking altcoins, then definitely, I think you definitely have to be careful, because lots of them are shit coins, right? So just kind of being able to know the game you're playing and being able to get out, as Bitboy mentioned.
Yeah,
right.
but I would like to counter that though. And I would like to say that it sounds great. If you bought Bitcoin for $1 and, you hodled it up to $20,000 and then you hodled it back down to $3,000, I think I can make an argument that you've actually lost more money than you've gained, by not selling the top or remotely close to the top. You're actually losing out on a lot of money. At the end of the day, those are the people everybody wants to be. You want to be the guy that got in Bitcoin, not like me in 2012, and you sold it all early, and you should be sitting on, piles of, digital money or real money, and you're not because you were dumb. But you want to be the guy that invested in it early, but there ain't like a Bitcoin type opportunity probably coming to us again, where you can make that crazy exponential amount of growth over 10 years, like you're saying. So people are yearning for gains everywhere,
So fortunes are made.
So actually, I think that's a good segue to our next topic. But that being said, please tell us what you think about everything down in the comments below. Okay. All right. So next topic, let's have everybody kind of share with us their favorite coins right now. What cryptocurrency they think, obviously not financial advice, they think could be the next 100x. So what's the next Bitcoin, the next Ethereum? Anybody want to go first?
I just said there was no next Bitcoin, didn't I? You guys really, okay. Nobody better answer that.
Putting you on the spot.
I'll go.
All right. Crypto Love.
So I think the next Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. And everyone forgets the exponential function. And, like everybody wants to be a Bitcoin millionaire, but they forget how long it took most Bitcoin millionaires to be a Bitcoin millionaire. If you watch that video on YouTube about the kid who's a teenage Bitcoin millionaire, he held Bitcoin for 6 years. How many of you have held Bitcoin for 6 years? Very few. All right. So it's an exponential function, and it's still very, very early on. Like most people who actually have money in the world are just learning about Bitcoin. And when they learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they're going to want the name brand one. They're going to want the one that they can buy everywhere. They're not going to want this risky alternative to Bitcoin that they don't know much about, that who knows, it has a kind of spotty smart contract. They're going to want the real name brand thing. So that's one of them, I think so. And then if you want more of like a speculative one, I think Kusama, because a lot of people are talking about Polkadot being the alternative to Ethereum. Well, Kusama is kind of the same type of thing, like a sandbox for Polkadot, and created by Gavin Wood, one of the original developers of Ethereum. And it's still kind of down there on the charts. So those are my 2 cents.
So quick question for you. So you're more bullish on Kusama over Polkadot?
Yeah, because Polkadot's like 4th in terms of market cap or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it has. I mean, I think it's a great project, but I just don't think it has the opportunity
The upside?
for gains as Kusama does.
Right.
But didn't you also just argue that Bitcoin was the next Bitcoin? It's number one, you know?
Oh, right. Because, here's the other thing that most people don't realize is a fixed amount of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's 21 million. They're not making any more Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin is the hardest money that's ever been available. And other people will be like, well, there's low supply altcoins, you know, like Wi-Fi only has 36,000 or whatever. But guess what? It's not one of the original 21 million Bitcoin. Okay. So it's like the hardest money ever. If everybody were to start mining gold, we'd have more gold in circulation. If everybody were to start mining Bitcoin, the difficulty would go up exponentially, and there's still only ever 21 million, and people lose them all the time. So fixed supply, small amount. I still think, I mean, yeah, I could be very wrong. I could be completely 100%
Bro,
wrong.
you're starting to sound like one of those maxis, dude. I gotta stay away from those maxis, dude. That's not good for Tokenmetrics business. Okay. You also sign up tm.bitboy.live. Thank you.
Yeah, go on Tokenmetrics and check out the ratings. Number 1 rating up there is Bitcoin.
Yeah. Understood. I would say though, just about the Bitcoin comment that you made there, which is the problem with Bitcoin is that the average person cannot afford one, period. You know, so even though it sounds great, own one Bitcoin and you can have financial freedom. Most people can't afford $10,000, $12,000 for a Bitcoin.
So they're supposed to speculate on a cryptocurrency and lose all their money instead.
That's supposed to buy XRP because it's the truth, right?
Absolutely, though. What you're saying, the gambling attitude that you're the gambling attitude.
95% of traders lose.
Yeah.
Or basically with Bitcoin, 95% of the time you're winning. Looking at historical Bitcoin price, you have a 95% chance of winning based on Bitcoin price. So you either have a 95% chance to lose as a trader, unless you use Tokenmetrics, or
but a 401k makes people money over time as well. You know what I'm saying? Like there are other kind of investment if you're just like, oh well, it's all about making money, you know, positive gains over a long period of time. Mm-hmm. The thing is people, okay, the people that can get rich still right now on Bitcoin are probably already in a position where they're more patient because they already have money. If you have enough Bitcoin to where from this point you're not rich, but you're going to get rich, you already got a lot of money, you know? And by rich, I mean $1 million more, whatever. You know, in California, that's not even a lot of money, okay? But our audience, the people who are watching this right now, you know, I know there's a guy watching in India right now who's making $2 an hour. You know, he ain't gonna be able to buy Bitcoin, but you know what? He could scrounge together enough money to get half an ETH. You know, and if that price goes up, you know, crazy amounts, then he could diversify that and do some other things. I understand people are going to lose trade. People are going to lose trading when all things are even, but when we're in a bull run, and you can, you know, buy in the red and sell in the green is a pretty, you know, simple concept. But that's what the people want. The people want the highly speculative coins.
Right.
You know?
Oh yeah. I'm not going to argue. You're totally 100% right there. People want the speculation. They want to gamble. Gamblers. Yeah.
And that's how a lot of people got into crypto is you know, gambling and accepting Bitcoin on gambling sites. And
all right. So Bitboy, your top coins besides Bitcoin?
Yeah. So I got a lot of highly speculative ones out there, for sure. I mean, people that watch my channel know what those are. But I'm actually going to say, like, this is the advice that I give to people I know in my real life that are like, you know, they know I do crypto, they know I make money, they know I do well. And they ask me, you know, how can I get in? You know, the thing that I tell them to do is Ethereum and Chainlink, maybe Tezos. You know, I direct them to those because they have the highest, they have high ceilings with not a really deep floor, at least through a bull market. VeChain is another one that I believe is going to have some of the biggest returns in the bull market. It's the leader in its niche. It's the leader in its niche of supply chain tracking that actually has a lot of use case, you know. So I think it's got a lot of potential for really, really, really explosive gains throughout the bull market. And then, there's I mean, we all know the Uniswap coins. I'm actually like getting into yield farming a pretty good bit right now. I've decided I'm going to beat the learning curve, and I have. So that's where a lot of good gains are coming. So, people, the retail investors are investing in the yield farming tokens, but the people that are really balling, they're making the tokens, through
Hell
the yield
yeah.
farming. And that's where there's a lot of money right now. So, but once again, kind of like with Bitcoin, yield farming, you kind of got to have some money to make some money. But yeah, I will say one project I like that's a really low capper is Distx, DISTX. They are a platform, a token sale platform where they basically verify and prevent rug pull scams on Uniswap from the coins that launch on their platform. And we all know, I mean, I fell victim. I lost $40,000 a couple weeks ago in a rug pull scam. So we know, we know that those are serious. They're real. But yet the highly speculative gambling nature of, people that love to live, I'm starting to call them, low cap crack rocks these days instead of gyms. That's how you make the money but also how you lose it, so it's very volatile. So I think a platform like Distx that's able to, make sure that these projects are legit, preventing people from losing money, I think something like it could do really well. So that's my low capper of the day, I would say.
All right, thank you.
Nice.
How about you, Bill?
Okay, well, as you can maybe tell from the picture behind me, I'm an Ethereum guy. And I think one of the best things that's happened with this market cap push, where like your chain links and especially your polka dots, people got tired of waiting for 2.0, right? And all these things started to push up the market cap chart to the point where they've got to be sitting in Ethereum headquarters going, we need to work faster, okay? 2.0 comes out, it gives you all kinds of benefits. The benefits of Ethereum, very simple. The SEC has said it's not a security, it's a currency. And as we've seen with the whole DeFi explosion, it's also like a tech stock. So it's like a tech stock you can pay for things with in theory, right? Small coins, right? To me, DeFi means an interest rate or like a mini yield curve. Everyone's like, yeah, crypto is money. We had the whole conversation, Bitcoin is where it's at. Absolutely. One of the things that legitimizes Bitcoin and crypto as a whole is if you have money and an interest rate system. And some of these things like Ample, laugh or cry about what that thing does day to day, right? That has like money supply management. So everyone's like, oh, DeFi is a bubble or sushi swap. No, people forget the negatives. Crypto's got an interest rate system. And some of the smaller coins like Kava and Ren, right, where you've got like lending for speculation, it almost feels like securities lending in some ways with Ren, where they can take these different coins, wrap them into a smart contract, right? Some of that stuff's, real complicated sort of crypto gearhead. But at the end of the day, you got an interest rate mechanism for crypto. So when it comes time, and believe me, folks, as we all know, the time is coming when people go, this legacy system and the casino that's going on in equities, when that all stops, when that all ends, either ends badly or just ends, people are going to go, okay, I got equities over here and I got crypto. Wow, they have yield farming interest rates, alternative money. I don't need this anymore. So that's like a 2021 preview and the coins I like.
All right, thank you, Bill. Coach K?
All right. I'm surprised no one said RSR. I'm very bullish on RSR long term. They have real world use case. It's been on a massive bull on its own. They're already in Argentina, Venezuela. I'm sure Brazil's coming up. And the whole mechanism of holding RSR, burning it for RSV, which is a stable coin, is a very interesting concept. Also, Peter Thiel being behind it. A couple of us, I think, were in the token sale for it as well. I think that's a really bullish coin that everyone should be looking at. It's built on Ethereum, and
Which one?
their
Which one?
mainnet's
You say that again?
Reserve RSR.
Reserve
Oh,
rights.
Yeah.
Reserve rights, yeah. So I think that's one of the coins that I'm mega bullish on, heavily invested into. So that's full, being full disclosure there.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
didn't get in the
another one-
token sale, so can we FUD that real quick? I was not in that. Okay, so it's a terrible project, guys. I reserve the right to FUD this project.
Another one that no one's really talked about that I've been kind of bullish on because I know the CEO and I've seen them develop a lot, and I've seen them develop because I'm in Thailand, and I've seen them develop stuff like your visa on arrival will be on their app soon. They've developed a COVID app, which the Thai government's potentially going to approve. They also have the insurance companies here. So they have a lot of stuff set up. But on top of that, they're basically Travala, but like with a lot of hotels and other things. And there's a lot of snippets from the team that they're going to be potentially in the Chinese blockchain network. So I don't know if that's for sure. I haven't been told that by anyone that's going to happen, but that might be the next project on the BCN. And they've kind of on their Twitter alluded to that potentially happening. So with what they're doing, there might be something with like WeChat or with Alipay or something where they're going to integrate, and they have DeFi and their own a similar system to RSR where they have their coin, but you can also get a stable coin. I hear there's DeFi coming. So they have a lot and no one really talks about them. So it's one of the ones that's kind of under the radar in my list. Obviously BNB. Everyone knows that CZ will not be beaten in any market. I've been saying it since $19 that he's going to do stuff. I called BSwap out 12 hours before they did, which was quite interesting. And then another one in the Chinese blockchain network is Iris, another one that's really good to look at. Obviously, we have the Links and the Rens and the ETHs and all these other ones, but if we're looking at ones that potentially have huge gains coming behind them, I think that those are the majors that I would be looking at right now. Uniswap, it's kind of a shitcoin graveyard. You don't know really what's coming out of there. I even have I have my own channel, which I call Unishit, because literally it's just, you don't know what you're getting into. This whole distext thing I've heard about as well, Bitboy. And I think that this is something very interesting, making sure that you don't get rug pulled, because yes, you can get 100,000% APY, but if you have a 90% chance or a 95% chance of getting rug pulled, is it really worth throwing in 10 ETH to see how that goes? And then the only thing with yield farming I don't like so far is these crazy fees that you're paying just so that you can do it.
In the amount of transactions you have to do, like if you want to make any move, God, it takes 15 minutes, because you got to do like 17 different transactions. Yesterday I was in a project and it went up to 27 cents from where I bought in at, I think 6. And I was like, I'm getting out. Okay, I'm getting out. But I didn't have any Ethereum sitting in that wallet because I had like swapped it all out. And by the time I got Ethereum into the wallet to run the transaction to sell it, dropped down to, 17 cents. Still nothing to laugh at. But
yeah,
I mean, I miss selling the top, not because I wasn't smart enough to do it, but because I didn't have any Ethereum sitting in my wallet.
Or not enough Ethereum because all of a sudden gas goes up to like $50 just to get it out.
It was just
it's crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I think this is where they have the dots. Those guys are going to come in and try to, poke a swap. We, a couple of us know Makoto. Like, I think that's going to definitely challenge the Uniswap game because it'll be faster and cheaper. And you're seeing like Tron, even though I'm not a big fan of Tron at all, I really think it's a scammy project, but Tron's gotten a lot of their yield farming going, and EOS is starting to come in. So I like to see that. I want to see some competition, as it's been just one-sided. And then you also have the Serum, the Sam SBF or whatever. I can't remember his last name.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried. He's someone who's kind of like CZ in a way where you don't really want to bet against him either.
Mm-hmm. All right, interesting list. So from my perspective, in this order, right? I'm more bullish on Ethereum than Bitcoin, but I'm bullish on both, right? In terms of, if you had to ask me, Ian, what cryptocurrency would do 100x down the road, I'm still bullish on ETH and Bitcoin. Now, the reason why I think Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin in market cap is because everything that's happening now, all the smart contracts, all the dApps is happening on Ethereum. While Bitcoin is king, Bitcoin is basically building its use case as a store of value. But when it comes to DeFi, DeFi is really the holy grail of crypto. And I think that right now is Ethereum's race to lose. If the only way Ethereum cannot overtake Bitcoin is if Ethereum just fumbles ETH 2.0, right? So bullish on Ethereum, Bitcoin. After that, very, very bullish on PokerSwap. Our dev team had a chance to go through and basically do an in-depth code review, and Polkadot, right? Very, very bullish on Polkadot. Polkadot is the truth, essentially. They're trying to bring interoperability to the blockchain space. Yes, it's competing with Cosmos, with Icon, but right now Polkadot is the best project out there, and we think this is probably the only project out there that can really give Ethereum a run for its money, even though it is compatible. So long-term, very, very bullish on Polkadot. Outside of that, if you had asked me for low-cap coins or gems, I've been very bullish on Helium ever since I had a chance to go to San Francisco to meet the team. It's done pretty well so far, and it's been pretty stable during the market crashes. So Helium Network is definitely worth keeping an eye on. Right now, Coinbase is in the process of evaluating to add them possibly, and Binance did add them in the US. So definitely worth keeping an eye on that one. I've always been bullish on Blockstack and Matic Network as well. Those are, I would say, very safe low-cap gems compared to other low-cap gems out there from a technology standpoint. Very, very good projects. Matic does compete with XDAI. XDAI does also have good technology. We're still in the process of basically checking out their fundamentals, but from a purely code-based perspective, very, very good. In terms of promising tokens that are launching this year that haven't launched yet, our team does love 1inch Exchange. Very, 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 very good technology. It's basically a DEX aggregator, so watch out for that. They should be launching in the next month or so. Worth keeping an eye on.
Is it already out? Can't you use it now?
Yes. So the DEX is out, but the token.
The token.
Yeah.
Token.
Yeah, I think I think that not to interrupt here. Not that I'm above interrupting.
No, go ahead.
I do think though that exchange like DEX tokens are going to be like just like exchange tokens, exchange utility tokens were real big last year. I do think that is going to be a really big niche. Because that was definitely one I was thinking of, 1inch and then Balancer as well.
Yeah, Balancer.
There's a lot of
great.
Potential there.
All right. Anybody with any other comments? Nope. Awesome. Cool. Well, tell us what you think down in the comments below. Okay, so I think let's take some comments. Let's take some questions from the audience. How about Bitboy? Any questions with your audience?
Well, I have so many comments. I don't. Here's one. It just says Chainlink ? That's a question. It's got a question mark. One thing that was a joke, but somebody really did say that. One thing that I have seen a lot of people say is one of those projects that has momentum behind it, big names that we haven't mentioned at all, and people have thought that surprising that in the midst of this discussion, no one mentioned Cardano. I don't think anybody mentioned it. So people are asking, what do you think about, Polkadot versus Cardano? Because you said Polkadot could be a potential, Ethereum killer. There is finally though an opening for someone to compete with Ethereum due to the gas fees if they're not able to fix it with ETH 2.0. So we should start looking for who that is. So anyone have any comments on Polkadot versus Cardano, which is ironic because Cardano's logo is a bunch of polka dots.
Yeah.
That's true. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll preface this by saying Cardano has good technology, actually great technology. I would say technology-wise, it's definitely on par with Polkadot, kind of based from purely a code perspective. But in terms of community and just narrative, we think in terms of really competing with Ethereum, I think Polkadot right now has the best opportunity. Now, that's not to say Cardano cannot do well, but I think just purely based on having the narrative of interoperability, of DeFi, of Gavin Wood, and just being new and sexy and shiny, that kind of takes the attention of the crypto community, while ADA is basically the old project that's been around forever and is still building. And I think people would have just kind of pushed it aside because maybe it's taken too long, right? But I mean, they both do have good technology, but I think if I had to place my money into one project, I would say Polkadot over Cardano.
No, look, the stages that Cardano uses for the roadmap, with the scientists in there and stuff, the chicks definitely aren't sexy. So they look, they don't look like, even back in the 1800s, you've been taking them on a date. So, I mean, maybe a lot of you guys have never even touched the physical touch of a woman.
No, please don't. I would say for DOT, I mean, I'm really big in the private sales space right now. And I mean, if it's on DOT, it's going to sell out very quickly. Everyone doesn't give a crap about a lot of these other projects. Some of them do, there's like Rio, and that's one of them. I think Frontier Wallet is on ETH. There's definitely competition between the two. Gather, Mantra DAO. So there's definitely, we can see that both sides are producing some really great products, new projects that could have, really those are the multi-X gains that we're going to see, like the Alliance blocks, which listed at 70X and things like that. So I am looking into these guys. Some of them are ETH, some of them are Polkadot. But when I go and ask people, what do you guys want me to try to, score as an allocation, or what are you guys looking at? I would say about 70% of people are saying, man, here's the list and it's just Polkadot projects. This is what we want, especially things like PokaSwap. Oh my God, it's like a bunch of crackheads in a room with a little piece left and they're all trying to
get it. I'm the one. It's me. I'm the one doing that. It's me.
It's what it is. Like, they're all just like, give me that crack, man. I need it. I need that crack.
Low cap crack.
So it's Tyrone Biggums, How many? So
put him on a thumbnail.
Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing and that's what I'm hearing. But both are providing good projects. But when it comes to gas fees and stuff, if it's a yield farming project, if they're going to do that, a lot of people are like pushing now towards DOT, great technology, interoperability. It has more than Ethereum does right now. Now, I mean, that will change if ETH 2.0 performs, but I'm just concerned that ETH 2.0, it's going to take longer than I think people expect to change your blockchain basically completely. I find that if we're talking about Cardano, ETH was kind of like Charles Hoskinson left ETH to kind of do what DOT has done. Like, he wanted to leave to make a proof of stake. And I kind of feel like when you look at Cardano, that's exactly what he's tried to do. But, there is things that are competing with them, especially Cosmos and DOT. So it's really interesting to look at all of them. And I think not one of them has to be the best. I don't think you have to kill Ethereum. I think a lot of them can coexist. You can have Pepsi and you can have Coke and you can have Fanta, and all of them do really well. So that's also something we can think about because the space is so small. I mean, we don't even have $1 trillion market cap yet. Gold has $7 trillion in itself.
So don't say any of that to those Bitcoin maximalists because they think only one coin. Okay, I think in every other thing that exists in the world, there's multiple choices, except for Bitcoin. It's the hardest money. You can only use it. These billions of dollars in altcoins are just gonna disappear in a giant crypto rug pull scam, I guess. I don't know.
And it's super fast Bitcoin too, right? Like super fast.
It's funny, like Bitcoin as a currency is dead. Anybody that's still pushing that narrative is not realistic. Bitcoin.
Yes.
I can see him at Starbucks now. Hold on, guys. Let me open up my Lightning channel so I can receive this for your frap.
All right. How about you, Crypto Love?
Yeah, I think that when I've never been, aside from like the very beginning of Cardano back when it was like 2 cents up to the run up to $2, I haven't been much of a fan of Cardano. And I think because it became such a fanboy project that everybody already bought into it and everybody already owned Cardano, that there was no place for it to go, no place for it to go up. And then Hoskinson, he brought in all these scientists, engineers, and academics. And while that sounds great, they move at the speed of paint drying or snails or slow.
Or a COVID vaccine.
There we go.
Same people. It's the same people, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So they got a bunch of good ideas. And then I wasn't a big fan. I'm not a big fan of what's happening in crypto, of people making promises and not really standing up to them. So when he had the whole Shelley testnet thing and he said it's going to happen or I'm going to eat a shoe, and then he didn't eat a shoe. Like, I wasn't a fan of that.
McAfee, like where's McAfee at right now, bro?
Yeah, or McAfee who said he's going to eat his own dick and then he doesn't.
It was a joke all along.
Yeah. I
Then
know.
he,
I'm not a
then he
big
spirals
fan
it
of those
back and
things
says, "Come
happening.
on, guys, you really thought I was going to do that?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we know what you're into. We kind of thought you might.
We've all seen the movies. Come on.
So, but I mean, Polka is definitely a shiny new thing right now. Definitely the shiny new thing. It feels like I wasn't around in crypto when Ethereum first came out, but it feels like what I imagine Ethereum was like an open development environment to get a whole bunch of developers in there. Like that's what I imagine Ethereum was like back then. I never felt like Cardano was like that. I felt like it was like a hired scientific staff to develop this project. And so I think because of that, it could be a lot more nimble and quick and potentially show something.
All right. Bill, any comments to add in terms of Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink?
You know, I think when you start talking about Cardano or any of these, what they would call this term I'm seeing now, like sort of almost like old cycle or prior cycle coins and alts, that Cardano, for whatever, quality it has, is going to get lumped in with, I don't know, your Dashes, your Z Cashes, and all of these, your Bitcoin Cashes, all of these old cycle coins where people are basically sitting around holding bags, watching, stuff moon now over 9 months. And now they're asking themselves, if there's a normal correction in a bull market, right, which is basically what Bitboy was highlighting. If you have a correction in a bull market and there's a buying opportunity, am I going to hold this old cycle stuff, or am I going to jump into Chainlink or Polkadot? Right. And I think the answer is clear, right? The bag holders are going to dump this other stuff, even if it's down, right? Which could, okay, so we could have a Rectember, whatever, but that's probably their mantra. They'd be like, okay, I'm done with this because I know a year from now, I'm going to be better off with Link or Polkadot, based on, it's not just a shiny new object now, but it'll be the shiny new object later. And I'm over holding this stuff. Cardano.
It also goes with the crypto trader mantra of buy high and sell low.
Yeah. Well,
right,
what we all do anyways.
Or there's stuff that you've held for a long time that's still in profit, and you're just like, you watch, and I've done this myself. I've watched stuff and it's in profit, and I'm like, should I wait for it to go up like another 20%, or should I sell it and buy this new shiny crap coin that probably is going to do 25x on the second it drops on Uniswap or it drops on an exchange? Like I'm looking at those and going, yeah, I'm going to sell the Neo, that I bought at $9 because meh, it's just Neo. Yeah, it might do really well, but come on. That's my opinion. Like,
yeah, I think that that is a good point. I'd say if you have bags you're tied to, like, man, there's nothing better than being free of them. It's sunken cost fallacy, where you believe that you have too much time invested into this financial investment to give up on it. But what'll happen is the price will go back up, and then people dump it, when it hits a moderate level, and you'll be thinking like, oh, it's on the way back up, and you'll stay married to your bag, and then you'll get wrecked all over again. Because that's a great point. And man, that's a good video idea I'm going to do probably this week, which is, the average retail investor. Okay. And that's, I don't know about Bill. Okay. That guy, he used the word Goldman Sachs. Okay. For me, okay, I've never done any institutional investing, okay, or anything like that, or accredited investing, maybe one day. But so we're mostly retail traders. Everybody you're watching on crypto YouTube, for the most part, retail traders, or at least that's how they came in. That's what most people are. So the fact is that your retail investors will be much quicker to sell those bags at losses because you want to jump in the housing thing. However, the people with the big bags, the founders, the foundation members, the advisors that got in early and never sold, those are the people that are waiting for the price to hit a break-even point for them, and they are going to dump those bags. So I really like that idea, of thinking about the projects from the last bull cycle and whether or not, they'll be able to have the juice in the next cycle because of that happening, where the whales are going to dump every time it starts to get. Now, of course, listen, I believe everything almost is going to hit new all-time highs. I mean, that's just what is going to happen in the parabolic part of the bull run. So I think people will be able to get their money back on those projects. But the question is, would you be better served taking the money out now and, you know, putting it in the new, new hot, shiny tokens? Because we do know that on average, I believe it's about 45%. So about 4 to 5 of the top 10 changes over every single year. And we've actually seen more changing in the top 10 over the last year than I think we've seen in any other cycle. You know, the top 10 has just been constantly in flux. When if you look back at 2018 to 2019, it seemed like that top 10 was like set. You know, now we're looking at, you know, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV, like maybe even getting shoved out of there soon.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Time. Jesus.
Bitcoin SV
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. I don't mind Bitcoin Cash too much. I don't trash talk it, but I don't love it. But
All right. Well, thank you, Ben, and everybody. Okay, so Ben has to leave.
I gotta
so to all our audience, be sure to check out Bitboy Crypto on YouTube. Hardest working man in crypto, posting content, fire content. Keep it up. Thank you for having us. Best of luck to the Falcons next week.
Yeah,
I know, right? And just so everybody knows, I'm giving away a full Bitcoin on the channel. So if you're not a subscriber to my channel, you can visit that's the number 1 btc.bitboy.live, 1btc.bitboy.live to enter that giveaway. We're giving away some other crypto too. So I thought that could be beneficial to everyone's audience. So, all right, guys, for my channel, this is it. We're out. I got to go do another thing right now. So I will see you guys later. Thanks for having me. Bitboy.
Thank
Peace,
you,
man.
Bitboy.
Thank you.
All right. And then there were 4.
and then there were 4.
All right. So how about this? Let's take some questions from Crypto Loves channel. Any questions from your audience?
Yeah, there was a good one a while back. Damn, I forgot what it was.
I have a question while you're looking.
Yeah, go for it.
One of the guys asked, why is everyone so bullish on ETH? What's it going to do in the midterm? A 2x, a 5x, or like, is there some other reason? So we could definitely all, I think, answer that question.
So how about maybe we go to Bill? Bill, how about doing some TA on ETH?
Okay.
Yep.
Then maybe Coach K can also add to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let me get this called up here. All right. So one of the reasons why, I'm liking ETH. Let's do the short term first. Okay. So one of the things you need in a bull market is you need people to get washed out.
Yep.
All right. And one of the reasons why I think ETH could sort of like double or triple in price is ETH is going through like an 87 crash. Okay. Now, I know we make jokes on the Tokenmetrics channel that, haha, Bill was in college in 87. Right. And I watched that unfold. Right. First it was like, hey, all this great stuff's happening. Then it was this huge crash we didn't understand. And then there was a retest in December. Okay. So in ETH's case, if you look at this chart here, all I'm doing is highlighting the fact that when ETH has been moving around lately, everything looks like a correction. That's why you see all those A, B, and C's, right? And that indicates a corrective mode. And as in 87, I'm looking forward to an opportunity where there's some sort of retest of say 300 or 310. Okay. Now, if I just think about the 87 parallel, okay, I'm like, that was a generational buying opportunity. Okay. Nobody knew why at the time. It was going to be like the Fed was going to install something where, they were never going to let the market go down any more than say 15%. Nobody knew that. Just like nobody now knows what DeFi could become, and nobody knows what Bitcoin as collateral, which is something we haven't talked about, right? Can become, right? It's okay. You're not going to pay what's at Starbucks, but what's better collateral? Bitcoin wrapped up on ETH or a commercial office building in Manhattan? It's not even close, right? So
Yeah.
once this sort of flush happens in ETH, you can use your imagination like you had to in 87, right? All good research starts with imagination, to imagine what this network or similar networks can become. All right. And that's why I think that if they flush it, right, it does have an opportunity for 3 and 5x. 2.0 could be a reason, or it could be something else. So that's how I would break ETH down.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Bill. And then to Coach K.
Yeah, you want me to throw my chart up here? 1 sec.
Yeah.
Okay.
Class is in session with the coach.
Hey, classes in session. All right, so I'm an Ichimoku trader. I also use levels and some EMAs as well for Confluence. And what I'm seeing on ETH, I've been thinking this for a couple of weeks now that it kind of overshot. It may test this level and go higher, but I just don't see that happening in September. I'm looking more, especially when we look on the daily chart, for us to kind of come down to this 100-day EMA or the bottom of the cloud as a level of Confluence for us to bounce, which is kind of coinciding with what you're saying, Bill, which is right around 310. It could also come down to this level right here at 278. It's a little bit more of an overshot, but when we look at the percentage wise, it's really not that crazy. It's only about 41%, and that might take a little longer, and this EMA might travel up to $290, $300. That's what I'm looking at. Just because we couldn't hold this 21-day EMA, it's a pretty strong indicator that we're generally going to come back down. And we also see like volumes on the weekly. They're looking okay. Actually, on the weekly, it looks okay. It looks like it's just doing a test of the Tenkin, which could send it higher. But I do think that we've pulled so far away from the Kijin, which is basically a 50% retrace level all the time. So this red line's the Kijin's in. I think we'll pull back and test this level at some point, which is at 286. So for ETH, that's what I'm actually looking at in terms of technical levels. And yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying in terms of the long term. When we do bounce that and close out on the weekly, that edge to edge, it's definitely going to come back to the higher levels from 2017, 2018, at least to $780, $800, in maybe not in the short term, but in the midterm.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. And so for more TA and analysis, be sure to check out Coach K on his channel at Coach K, right?
At Coach K. Yeah.
At Coach K.
Coach K Crypto. Yeah.
Coach K Crypto.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, back to you. Crypto Love.
I found the question. It's a two-parter. Part number one.
Right.
What projects are you guys bearish on? And part number two, what about Sushi Swap?
Okay. All right. So let's begin with bearish. So what projects are we bearish on? I mean, I would say that's like 90% of crypto projects, right?
Yeah.
But to kind of maybe bring up projects that are well known. I mean, because I don't like talking about this question because typically the armies come out and they just kill you in the comments, right? So XRP, for example, XRP army, please don't kill us. XRP, right? Definitely comes to mind. Outside of that, probably Bitcoin Cash. I mean, but all these are kind of more well-known projects.
Yeah, SV. I'm very bearish on it. Even though they have good tech, I mean, there's so much fallacy with their founder. It's just I can't take them seriously ever. They're just like a cult, honestly. If you've ever been to any of the BTCV stuff, it's like you're going to a cult meeting where they don't even listen to reason.
Let me see what else. Tron is, I mean, yeah, I think that Tron, while with great marketing and with Justin Sun, he's definitely a genius marketer. I just think it's a very competitive space they're in, and I don't think they'll be able to make it. I'll add Litecoin in there. Litecoin is pretty much a one-man band, and they haven't really had much innovation since he sold the top, right? That being Charlie Lee. And I think now with the space being more competitive, I don't know why people are still in Litecoin. I think people are just trading it. I mean, because I don't see the value in it, especially now when we have stable coins and other tokens that can really do the same thing, right? So I would say that's what comes to mind.
Cool. And then what about Sushi Swap? Is it a good time to buy in?
Don't buy farmable coin. I mean, this is not financial advice, but
I agree as well.
If you can get something for free, why would it's like, okay, I look at these farm coins as airdrops from 2017. You could get ONT, you get $10,000 for free. It was awesome, right? But really what it comes down to is if someone said, hey, you can go to this place and they'll give you free money every single day. All you have to do is just put money into this, into your savings account. And then, depending on your risk, how much you're going to lock up into what type of things. Like with Sushi Swap, it's pretty low risk if you do it the right way. And you're getting free money every day, and then you can sell it on the people that are dumb enough to buy it. And that's how I look at it for all of them. ZZZ was another one. I was farming the crap out of that. And it was like, it's $800. Great. I can sell this free stuff that I didn't do any work for. I didn't have to spend any time doing technical analysis or fundamental analysis. I just basically put money into a contract, and it gave me free coins. And then I was selling it on people that were dumb enough to buy it, because why would you buy something for free? Like, I don't know. It's my opinion, but I mean, you guys can give yours.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, because disclosure, I also I've been farming sushi since it launched, and I agree. I don't think it makes sense to buy sushi or any coin, right? I mean, any farming coin. Why buy it when you can earn it for free? Because by buying it, you're basically adding additional risk to your position, right? So if you already have Ethereum or anything, right? So with me, I was actually in a trade based on our price prediction indices, and I bought synthetics, and I saw it was available as a pool on Sushi. So to me, it was a no-brainer to just stake it there for the next few weeks and just get free tokens, because to me, it's basically just getting, as Coach K mentioned, an airdrop. Now, if you have to buy it, then you have to be conscious of the profit loss, of the entry, the exit. But if it's just free money, it's free money, right? So I think for anybody out there, if you want to partake in yield farming, that's the way to go, as opposed to trading it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then with yield farming, you have pools where you literally lock up DAI in USDC, so you have zero risk. Yes, it gives you only 60% a year, but if you have like a couple $100,000 and you're locking it up, you're getting 60% a year, for now at least. I mean, that's also a pretty easy, safe bet that you're going to get free. You're going to get free balance or pool tokens or whatever you're using, whatever you're getting. Those are also good opportunities for you. Like, it's easy money. And, people from the traditional side of investments, they're looking for 10%, 15% a year, when you can do that and you literally have almost no risk at all. So yeah, there's definitely smart ways to play it for sure.
Now I'll just preface that. So not to be a stickler, but it's not quite zero risk, because obviously with YAM, right, what happened, but I would say the risk is minimal, right? Because you do have smart contract bugs or hacks, but there are ways to mitigate the risks, right? So for example, if you get insurance through so through Nexus, through now Yearn as well, right? So there are methods to kind of de-risk your position. Bill, anything to add to that?
Well, you took a little bit of thunder with Litecoin, so let me add let me add to that. So this idea of paying for stuff with crypto, okay, crypto, Bitcoin, etc., is more like collateral now. That's how it's getting its cred rather than as payment. So things that were billed as faster versions of Bitcoin, like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, you're going to have Novogratz and hedge funds sitting on top of that stuff, shorting it so they can get long something else, right? Yeah. So that stuff's bearish. Now, I think the hidden bearish thing in crypto may be security tokens, right? Now, I know really the only way to play security tokens is with overstock.com, which massively mooned off, the bottom in crypto. I mean, like massively. It was incredible, right? But the thing is, why do we need security tokens? We've already got a yield farming system. We've got an interest rate mechanism in crypto. We don't need to like port in other securities and digitize them for fun. So yes, that space is great, but with yield farming, I don't know that this idea that was originally thought of either crypto is going to be money, like foreign exchange, or it's going to be equities like security tokens. Instead, crypto's gone down this path of, hey, it's going to be kind of like playing interest rates, like not like bonds per se, but It's an interest rate mechanism. That's how crypto mushrooms out. So anything that's currency necessarily or securities, bearish.
All right. Anything to add to that, Crypto Love, on your end? Okay, sounds good. And actually, so I do have a question back to SushiSwap. So now we've kind of seen the first vampire mining in crypto, right? So for those who don't know, vampire mining, SushiSwap basically stole liquidity, right? By giving Uniswap LP, basically liquidity providers, tokens for bringing the liquidity over to their DEX. And what do you guys think about now any project trying to copy this technique where they can just basically suck up the liquidity or the total value locked from any protocol by really staging a war by giving out free tokens? So anybody with any take on that? Coach K?
Oh, that's a good question, honestly. I think we're talking about Serum right now, obviously. I think Sam is extremely intelligent. I've had conversations with him when he was in Bangkok, and he's one of those people where you're just like, this guy is beyond. He's the smartest person in the room. You can tell that, and I think that you're going to see this happen more often. And it's not just the fact that he gave tokens, it's the fact that people are paying so much in gas every single day that it's not even a thought. Solana, I think Serum's built on Solana. It's faster, it's more efficient, it's less fees. So it's really not hard to say, hey, you're paying, let's say, like with banks, you're paying X amount to do everything. Why don't you use crypto and it's a lot cheaper? So he's doing a similar technique. And I think we're going to see more of that until E2.0 comes out and they can actually not have these gas fees. And then you're seeing Tron do the same thing. Come and build on Tron, come and build on EOS. Soon Lattice Exchange comes out from Constellation. So there's going to be another one. So I think they're all going to try and vampire each other, and they're going to do it with, maybe guerrilla type tactics. And I don't know. That's good. I think it's good because Uniswap had way too much of the
control,
the share in the market, and it's good to see 1inch and all these other exchanges come out. And like I said before, you're going to have the Pepsis and the Cokes and the Fantas and all the bottled water companies. And
now the question is, do you think the first mover advantage is still there? Do you think they can really build a moat? Because same thing happened with Curve Finance. Swerve launched I believe in the last week or so, and is basically doing the same exact tactic. Do you think, because the whole premise of crypto and DeFi is being open source. But now if projects are afraid of launching because any project can just basically fork their code and a week later surpass them in liquidity, right? Where is the incentive to really open source your code?
There isn't, honestly. I never understand. Like, I understand why we have open source code, but with yield farming, it's like you pay someone $40,000 and they'll build you a copy of whatever YF code you want, and why? Because this literally copying and changing a few pieces of the code, and then you have your own. I think what we'll probably start to see is the open source maybe be a little bit more closed, or kind of maybe we would call it not open source, but they kind of are going to put in what would you call it from a technical position? You're going to put in kind of secret code where they can't really understand it. You're going to change some things that will make it harder for them if they copy it to understand what's going on. I think you're going to start to see that. And so it makes it more of a challenge for these guys to just copy.
Kind of like the Cold War, right? Kind of like the protocol wars.
Yeah, like it makes perfect sense to me, because when I first got into crypto and more into crypto and like really started looking at things, my first question is, why would you want anyone just to be able to copy your code? Like, that yes, you get first mover advantage, but if someone does something better, it's very easy for them not to have to do very much to get there. So
yeah, because actually, so I did talk to our developer about this as well, and he told me there is an option in terms of Ethereum smart contracts to not make your code open source. Basically, if you don't verify the code, then people can't really go through and view it. But it does make it more challenging to get adoption because people can't really audit the code, right? Because the whole point of DeFi is anybody can audit the code to make sure there's no scam. right?
But what about like QuantStamp and Certic? They could just give the code to them and they can certify this code is great, and maybe they don't have to be open source to do that. So they might be sharing it on the back end. I mean, does that make it fully decentralized? I don't know. Is decentralized kind of a meme? Kind of, in my opinion, it is a little bit of a meme. Nothing will ever be 100% decentralized. It's just anarchy if that's the case in a lot of ways. So not that I don't believe in it. I just think that achieving it is going to take a lot longer than people realize.
Yeah. Anybody with any other comments on that?
Yeah, for sushi. So when I learned about this, I said, never underestimate crypto's ability to sort of F itself, right? When I heard about this, right? So this whole thing tops out and goes down 60%. And I see this little sushi with like a little unicorn thing everywhere. And I imagine it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like going to work at the New York Stock Exchange, right? You get out of the subway, you go in the building and it's empty. And there's a sign that says, yeah, all the liquidity and the market makers are now across the street or they're uptown. Good luck getting there. Here's the address. Yeah. So when I see people messing with liquidity, I'm just like, no wonder it went down 60%. Right now, how it gets solved on the technology angle, that's great. But saying I'm trading over here and then my liquidity and my assets and my market making are over here, it's almost like violating the holy grail, right? You got to have trust in the liquidity. Otherwise, I mean, a casino, you don't have to worry about them. I mean, you're going to lose the game anyway, but at least you have confidence in the house, in the game, in where your money is and what the chips are worth. So if we're out there in crypto world, okay, sushi was fun, great, but the computer guys have to fix this. Yeah, please.
It's like the
no more
Ghostbusters
sushi
scene
swap,
where you never cross
please.
the streams. I think I made a comment about this a while back before sushi was even a thing, and I said this is just going to be a huge bubble because eventually this is going to blow up in everyone's face. And it started with most of these coins that were named after food, and I was like, come on, does anyone actually really take this seriously? I'll farm it, I'll make money from it, I'm a trader, of course I'm going to do that. But in retrospect, like, it doesn't make any sense. And I sat there and the fundamental side of me is going like, come on, this is kind of ridiculous. And I don't think there's, like, I did pork chop, and I made 18 ETH from 2 ETH. And I'm sitting there going like, this doesn't even make any sense. I did one day, and it's pork chop coin. And now where's pork chop coin? Well, of course it went down to pretty much nothing, and baguette coin down to nothing. All these coins just go down to nothing. And it makes sense, because they don't make sense.
All right. Okay, so tell us what you think down in the comments below. Okay, here, let's check in with the audience and see how we're doing. Okay, people are talking about, Coach K has quite the fans in the comments.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, Coach K Army.
Thanks to all my love. Sending my love to all you guys, man.
All right, so how about this? Let's talk about YFI and Yearn. Right, so there's been lots of interest in Yearn Finance. Andre Cronje, actually, surprisingly, he did ping me early in the year telling me about his project, but I thought it was just like some project. I mean, I had no idea it would blow up into where it is now, where it's now top 25 market cap. It had, at one point, it had over $1 billion in market cap. I mean, this is really becoming kind of like the Bitcoin of DeFi.
Yes.
So is anybody in it? Anybody with any comments or thoughts on Yearn Finance?
I actually I've been making top altcoin videos using Tokenmetrics, and I made one last week where I think it was like YFI and Yearn Finance were highly recommended on there. So I put those in a video, and they blew up right afterwards. And I was like, pretty accurate.
I was doing TA at like 9K, and I was like, this is crazy, but it's just going to go higher. I don't see it stopping because the supply is so low and there's so much interest. And they're not just building like and stopping. And, the fact that this founder, Andre didn't even keep any for himself, which is crazy to me. He built it and he was like, this is for the community, which is kind of the whole idea with crypto in itself. It's for the community. It's for changing the world that we live in. It's to make things fair and get rid of the old legacy system that doesn't really work, but they're trying to make work still. So, I really do appreciate what he's done. The copies, I'm not too sure how those are going to do long term, but you're in finance with having insurance, and then now the big thing is the NFTs, which is something that we haven't talked about yet. I believe NFTs are going to be the next DAO or whatever. We have all these DAOs going up. I think you're in finance and NFTs and stuff. Those are going to start to become more prevalent. And also, if you guys noticed, PokeSwap just did a bunch of NFTs and gave away PokeSwap within the NFT. You can get 100 Pokeswap by buying them, and they sold out. Like,
Pokeswap?
Yeah.
Mikado?
Yeah,
The exchange? The
Mikado. He did buy this NFT, and you get 100 PokesWap tokens, and they sold out like within a few hours. And I
Wait,
think
so they're already selling tokens? Oh man,
I think it's like you can trade it in. Yeah, I don't know.
I end up
don't
playing
know.
Mikado ASAP.
Right. So they were like, Taylor messaged me. He's like, hey man, look at this. You can buy this card for 0.7 ETH and you get 100 PokesWap tokens. And I was like, that doesn't sound like a great deal, but maybe the NFT is going to be worth something later too, because as a collector's item. So this is something that I'm starting to see pop up. And I mean, if you guys have been looking at like Rari, it's been just blowing up as well. I think that's going to go through a hype and dump cycle, and then we'll figure it out. But yeah, NFTs seem to be another thing that's coming up a lot.
Okay. How about you, Bill? How about maybe checking the TA on Yearn, YFI?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So on Yearn.
Ooh, what a retrace. Nice.
Right. All right. So on kind of a fundamental basis, what does crypto need, right? It needs more credible ideas, more credible projects, and more credible names, right? Like, things that one day, the common man will know. I think, Wi-Fi is set up to become one of those marquee names. And the more of those names crypto has, the better it is for the system. Now, I like to do GAN work because it's great for wild markets. Right. Wi-Fi kind of goes up here and hits this point, and it feels like somebody big who has had this, or, some big player kind of ran it up and then dropped it. Okay. Kind of like, big hedge funds used to do in the 80s. All right. Now this candle here, where they seem to be coming in and buying a dip on the old highs. Okay. It means that people are just watching this chart. People want to get in. Okay. And even if crypto gets, they kind of smack the market around a little bit, this coin does have room to correct to say 25,000, but it's kind of like Chainlink. Are you really going to get in front of this thing? Right. Like, if we're in what you call a macro bull market in crypto, where, after we get done with a bad September, everything's going up, don't FOMO into this thing, because, FOMO doesn't work, as we've discussed, but, this thing is making pictures on charts. It feels like Chainlink 2 months ago, where, yeah, they run it up and then they drop it, but then there's people there who are looking to get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Bill.
It's the new hot thing. I'm seeing that it's going to probably come down a little bit further, probably to 330,000 again before it bounces and really goes up higher. That's what I'm looking at right now.
You want to pull that up as well?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm looking at similar levels, but again, when we this is like such a magnet to price. You see it happen over here, where our Kijin's flat and it's gone so far beyond it, overshoots it, and it pulls it back down. Then we get below it and it pulls it back up. And now we've gone really far and overshot it almost the same amount as here. And so we might hold this 21-day EMA, but I don't think we will. I think we'll dump. If Bitcoin dumps, we'll come back down to 30,000, and that will bounce again and go to the next level higher. we'll see, something like this, and then we'll come up and make another higher high. It hasn't been around long enough, in my opinion. This is when I was looking at it way back in the day, at like 13, 14,000, telling people it's going to break out and go higher. They had no idea how much higher it was going to go, but it's been impressing. I think anyone who's in TA, anyone who's been in this market, it's just been like, where is this thing going next? Because it's interesting, but that level will probably come down and tap at some point. It might not be right now. It's looking at a 4-hour chart, but I think it will come down in the next week or two. If Bitcoin gets bearish, it could overshoot it. Sorry, could overshoot it as well. But yeah, there's also that 100-day EMA creeping up as well. So it might take a few days and a few weeks and come into this level and tap and come higher. And so that's what I would be looking at if you're looking at YFI. Don't be the guy who's trying to get in too quickly, and don't put all your chips in one basket for sure. Just wait for the opportunity that you're looking for. And I agree with Bill. People are waiting for the opportunity. Then there's some people that are buying it. As you can see from that long wick down, people came in and bought it back up. And you'll see that a lot with Bitcoin lately. It kept getting bought it back up every time someone tried to push it back down. But eventually those buyers get exhausted, and then the market will lose, and the market will come back down a little bit, and then they'll regroup and it will go higher. Because there's people that are selling up there that are looking to buy back in anyways. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
All right. Thank you, Coach K.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Coach K, how about any questions from your community or audience?
Let me see 1 second. Wow, lots of questions. Okay, 1 second.
So
some people are asking more about
ahead.
like things that Bill's looking at. So things like the regular traditional stock market. I know you're from that background. So people are wondering, like, September, October, is the stock market going to be bearish? They want to know, curious about, is there hesitation? And then the 50% cash day trading, mostly looking at, they're talking about trading ETFs. So what are your thoughts on that? I guess they know me, they know my opinions on these things, but do you agree with, the market potentially coming down in September, October, especially the traditional equities and legacy markets?
Right. So this is the question of the hour in crypto.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So people who make fun of crypto can stop making fun of crypto after the casino that equities have become. Right. Like, I did some research on this. There's a lot of terminology, but a lot of the value in equities is coming from people buying one-day call options with their rent money. Right. In other words, the retail universe and the speculative froth is, it's like beyond what can be described. And the article I read on this was back in June. And the net is, if the equity market stops going up every day, when they pull the rug out from underneath this thing, you could be looking at a 10 to 15% drop. Now in crypto, that's like, well, whatever, that happens before my coffee. Right. But in equities, it could create a huge disturbance. And unfortunately, in risk management inside big hedge funds, if they've got stocks, bonds, commodities, and currencies, right? And they're like 4 dogs in cages. If the equity dog starts barking, their computer systems are going to tell them to de-risk, because all the other markets, all the other dogs start barking as well. So again, this goes back to, wait a minute, who's selling all this? Where's this selling pressure coming from? So the biggest risk to crypto is, tax law selling. I know Bitboy didn't think so, but, taxes are a real thing. And then there's this idea how that spills over to equities, right? I mean, if you've been hodling equities, okay, you've been almost like laughing all the way as this thing goes parabolic as the economy tanks. So your incentive to take your money is enormous. Pay the 14% capital gains tax, buy some property in Idaho and some MREs, and wow, this has been great. Maybe I'll take up crypto. So that's how I would answer that question.
Yeah. That's a good answer.
I'd like to. So Warren Buffett recently said how he thinks the market's going to crash. He sold his airlines, he sold banks, and he bought gold mines.
Yep.
And so he sees the same thing happen. And he's buying, I mean, pretty much the closest thing to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. After saying for years and years and years with Charlie Munger that gold is terrible. And
Yep.
so I think they all see it coming, and it's all coming down the line. Because I think a lot of the stock market's just propped up with the free money. I mean, all the money printing that they did. Where we're at right now, it's not really, it hasn't recovered. It's just the deficit this 1 year alone is the same. $4 trillion is the same as the deficit from 1776 up until 1990. 220 years of the U.S. deficit. We just did that in 1 year. I mean, that's something that's massively going to impact the stock market. And so I think that being in cryptocurrency, we're going to be able to weather the storm because we're in a brand new asset class that right now is such a drop in the bucket, but it's I would think a secure drop in the bucket as opposed to what's going to happen to everything else.
Right. Everyone's like, oh my God,
Absolutely.
9 billion in DeFi. It's a bubble. People, the Fed printed 2.6 trillion in March. 9 billion in
Yep.
DeFi is a bubble. We're like a safe haven compared to the amounts that are out there, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing that people aren't realizing, and a lot of people don't talk about. They talk about, well, there's going to be inflation in US dollar. I'm like, yeah, but who's really going to feel it first? The US or every other country that doesn't have a ton of capital, that has problems or uses the US dollar, or, like Cambodia, or, countries that don't have very strong economies. I find that when people ask me why Bitcoin, I said, because it will come out of necessity. It's not going to come the way we expected it to. I believe that because of all these money printers going, it's eventually going to cause other countries to go, up, belly up. And the US is still going to be there, and they're still going to be okay. Because Australia, my friends work in the banks, they don't want Australian dollars. They want US dollars. Everyone wants US dollars. So it's almost like there's always going to be fine if you have US dollars. But what about all these other countries? What are they going to do? You're already seeing it in several countries, Turkey, across Africa, in Venezuela, in Argentina, Brazil. They're all starting to grow massively for crypto. And then why? Because it's safer than hiding a pile of cash this big underneath your pillow or something. And it's worth enough to buy a meals for a week. It's something that a lot of people don't talk about. So yeah, the US, are printing tons of money, but I don't think it's going to affect them the same way as it's going to affect a lot of the other countries, which I think for crypto will have a very positive effect.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff, everybody. Okay. Anybody with any questions from their audience they want to ask?
Let's see.
And while everyone is doing that, be sure to check out Crypto Love's channel on YouTube at Crypto Love. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many Chainlink is life changing?
As many as you can afford.
Well, I definitely messed up on Chainlink. I sold at 5 or 10x and thought it was done because my reasoning was they had no marketing, right? Because this was during when the 2018 bear market was approaching, and it looked like it was done because we're heading into a bear market with no marketing. I thought this was over, but who would have known that 4chan would have become their marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and the rest is history.
The armies, right? The Link Marines,
yeah,
and
Link Marine
XRP
army.
Yeah,
it's insane.
All these
right? So
crypto, it's so interesting. I find crypto so interesting in terms of, in anything else. People can love what you do and love your company or love your project, but in crypto, it has the most insane impact. You see this with YFI too. This insane impact of people who just love your project and will do anything for it and get married to that project. but the thing is, they don't ever stop. Link, you could have said 30 times with Link, it's going to drop. It's going to finally have this huge correction. But every time it seems like they're just back and they're buying more and they're buying more. And I think the community in crypto is one of the strongest part of a project. So yeah, I've been baffled by a lot of it too. I would have sold, I think a lot of people would have sold Bitcoin when they bought it $1, they would have saw it 100, they would have sold. I have friends that bought it 100, but were mining it for free and sold most of their bags at like $100. And they thought that was the greatest idea of their life. They bought a new car, you know, from doing that. And that was it. And then realized they could have been a multimillionaire later, but who knows? So we have all made that mistake. There's nothing we can do. But
yeah, I feel like crypto is a religion, right? I think that's probably the best way to kind of describe it. Now, how many Link is life-changing? I mean, depends when you got in. If you got in back in 2017, when Link launched, probably whatever you had was life-changing. But if you're getting in now, you're probably going to need to get a lot to make it life-changing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Bill? How much do you think is life-changing?
Okay, well, I think in things like Chainlink, the life-changing money, as Ian hinted at, was made, right? It's the guys who get it for nothing, and then it goes to $20 or $30. Okay, now Link, I think, does have the chance to become the next QQQ, right? Because it's just got this technology, seems that has an edge. Okay, so if everything gets going, yeah, I mean, Chainlink can do 2x, right? But in crypto, you know, that's not considered life-changing, right? 100x is life-changing.
No.
I think the thing that's amazing about Chainlink is that, you know, once upon a time, there used to be sort of this like reverence or zeal for free market economics, right? That Mr. Market rules the day, right? You know, and whole education systems were built up on this. And, you know, 20, 30 years of guys came out with this sort of like economics is like, you know, like I said, it was something to be reverent for about free market economics. In crypto, it's become the XRP army and then the Link Marines, right? This passion has been ported over into crypto. So it's another case of crypto taking something from legacy and possibly making it better and more fun, right? As long as these people aren't haunting your Twitter or running you over, right? It's got a negative, it's got a dark side to it. But, you know, I think the fact that crypto continues to reinvent legacy in everything from interest rates to foreign exchange, and now actually in sort of like economic theory.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Crypto Love? How much Link is life-changing?
You know, I've read this article last year or the year before that the average American thinks about $12,000 is life-changing. Really? So apparently 1,000 Link.
All right. That's a good answer.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense.
$12,000 life-changing. Yeah. I mean, maybe for the short term.
Right,
If you're
so-
one marshmallow person, give me 12 grand. But, yeah.
So to all our audience, tell us down in the comments how much Link you think is life-changing. Somebody's
I'm
saying
curious to know
they
what
think Ben J says need $1 trillion market cap, but Link could get there. Okay, somebody's very, very bullish on Link. Well, I mean, I think if the entire crypto market cap gets huge, right? Because let's say, so the World Economic Forum believes by 2027, about 10% of the world's GDP, which would be about 9, let's say 10 trillion, would be tokenized, basically in crypto. So if that basically means that the crypto market would have to 40x where we are right now, essentially, right? About 40x. So if Chainlink were to 40x, and what's its market cap right now? Let me take a look. Chainlink is,
I think it's like 5 or 6 billion or something around that.
yeah, about 4 billion.
4 billion. Yeah, West
So
5, 6.
So the 40x, so assuming there's no dilution in the token supply, it's about $12 right now. So 12 times 40. So for about 480, let's say $500 is where Chainlink could go. In theory, this is just pure speculation. If everything remains the same, and the entire crypto market cap were to 40x, Chainlink could get there. But I think I'll probably look for it to do less than that, just because crypto new tokens are being added every single day. So I think there would be dilution in terms of the proportion of market cap to growth. But I mean, it is Chainlink where anything could happen.
That's true, but we also have a lot of competitors, the UMAs, the Nest, the TRB.
And protocol.
Yeah, so there's several competitors, and I don't think everything would just go to one. And there's also some oracles now that are doing more verification, like added verification on top of the data, which, like I said in one of my videos, that I think Binance invested into a company called Numbers, and Numbers does that. It verifies data. So I could see that, like something like Link and Numbers connecting, and them doing additional verification, so Link can even take that next step. Because the one thing that they don't do very well, or they're not doing yet, is doing like added verification. It's just a lot of data can come in, but it could be skewed. And if you're just using certain data points, that may not be enough. So something like Numbers, and probably something else, there's going to be other companies that do this too, will probably be a really good partner for Chainlink, which will will make it even more of set it another step forward, which probably a lot of people don't think is possible, but it is.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so Bill, is there anything you want to cover we haven't had a chance to cover on today's show?
Well, I had one thing to add about Chainlink. Chainlink has market cap of about $5 billion. Okay. Microsoft paid $26 billion for LinkedIn. Okay. And I remember back in the day when everyone thought it was outrageous when Google paid $1 billion for YouTube. So these numbers, even though the run-ups have been a lot, these numbers are actually small. I think I'm good unless anybody's got any questions. I think my message to the retail investor is, we have a section on the show called Crypto Therapy, right? Where we go through charts and stuff. But in this particular case, I think people may actually need, actual therapy, right? So in this case, the retail guy came in July and August, and they bought the top, right? And we all know that, losses have twice the pain. Losses are twice as pain as gains are.
As gains.
And then there's the idea that you ran in and bought the top on top of that. So what I'm telling people is this: if you lost money, you've got something in common with the greatest traders out there. Okay. Because they've all blown, a lot of the greatest traders blow up. Like Warren Buffett sold airlines at the bottom, right? It's happened to everybody, right? Not only do you lose, but you buy the top or sell the low on top of that. And the most important thing in a bull market is short memory, right? If you dwell on it and, ETH flashes to 300, right? Or there's a dip, then you're going to be your head's not going to be right to take advantage of it. So on one hand, welcome to crypto. You're looking at the faces who are going to help you, right? Yeah. And everybody here wants to have you make money regardless of what channel you're watching, right? So if you lost money, I grew up in New Jersey, forget about it. There'll be another trade.
Yeah, short-term memory, man.
Well said.
Like I find like a lot of people that are also in this space, some of them came from sports, and you can really resonate some similar things. Like like we were talking about football when Ben was here, right? So keep a short-term memory, right? Like you make a mistake on a play, just try not to make that same mistake again. Write it down, make sure that you remind yourself, I did this and it was wrong and this is why, and then learn from it, and then go on and just keep pushing and use risk management so you never get wrecked. I mean, I have a video on my channel which you guys can watch. It's literally a risk management video. How do you do it properly? So you know how much you're going to lose before you even start. So you never get emotional. And if you make a mistake, it's okay because it won't wreck you. So I think that's another big piece to the puzzle, is learn how to manage your risk. Don't go put a 20x trade and lose your whole account for no reason when you could literally be using 1 or 2% risk. And if you lose it, it sucks, but it's not going to kill you. You'll have capital to trade another day. So yeah, have I blown up accounts? For sure. That's part of the education. Just call it that. Like your education you pay for in university, 40, 50, $100,000 to get your schooling. Well, in crypto, you get your education and you learn. And if you get wrecked, it's okay. You can make more money. You can start all over again. And it's hard, but you learn from it. And I think that's the most important part, is that you don't take it as I'm the worst person, or you don't get hard on yourself. You just say, all right, that was a bad choice. Taking consideration what you did wrong, how you did it wrong, write it down, journal it, and then don't make those mistakes again. Because it's really up to you if you're going to be successful. And it's up to you if you're going to be smarter, you're going to gamble, or you're going to actually trade. Because most people in this space are gamblers. They're not really traders. And traders use risk management. So practice that and you'll be okay, no matter what the market tells you.
Good stuff. Coach K?
Cheers.
Anything on your end, Crypto Love?
Yeah, I think just optimism and perspective and gratitude. Because a lot of people, they say like the best time to buy something is 10 years ago, but the second best time is now. And everybody wants to have bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, and wants to have bought Chainlink a year ago, and wants to have done all this, wants to have bought Yearn Finance 3 months ago. But here's the thing. We are literally the tiniest minority of the population in cryptocurrency right now. And it's really just the beginning. Like, people are just now talking about money going over to digital money. The government's talking about going over to digital money. And it's like, oh, no shit, no kidding. We've been talking about cryptocurrencies forever, And so like just having that little bit of perspective that, yeah, opportunities were missed. It happens. There's 5,000 cryptocurrencies. You're going to miss a ton of opportunities, but just being where you are in the cryptocurrency space, if you don't lose everything from making bad mistakes right now, you're going to be set pretty well in the future.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well said. Well said.
Mindset's so important. I agree.
Okay. All right. Wow. Lots of people still on. Thank you, everybody, for joining. It's been a blast. I think let's definitely make this something we do more often, probably in the next month or two.
Absolutely.
Any last words, Crypto Love?
Yeah, come hang out on my channel. I don't stream as much as everybody because I have a full-time job, but I am giving away $12,000 of Bitcoin this year to my patrons. So if you want to check that out, patreon.com/CryptoLove. And it's real Bitcoin. It's not those Ethereum Vitalik things that every other person has in front of their videos. So yeah, come check out the channel. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Yeah, definitely be sure to check out his channel. Great content, great person. Then Coach K.
Not to mention, I made a video about actual Tokenmetrics returns. Like, I know we haven't touched on Tokenmetrics at all, but I made an actual Tokenmetrics review video about my picks from August and how they did 48 to 78% better than Bitcoin or all other altcoins in the market. So,
be sure to check that out.
It's worth, but watch that video.
Yeah, take a look at it. I've watched the indices and I'm like, wow, this is a pretty powerful tool. So I started talking about it recently and showing how, the algo kind of fits really well with the stuff that I'm seeing in the charts. So obviously it's doing what it's supposed to do. So yeah, definitely check out Tokenmetrics. My channel, come and see me. I do a lot of humor in my videos. So if you like to laugh, definitely watch. You'll definitely get some parts where you get breaks. It's not too long. I try to keep it nice and short and sweet. And you get TA, you get some insights like what happened with B-Swap. I called it like right before it even happened. And I look at the market from a different perspective, and I don't shill really. I just talk about stuff that I believe in, and usually at the bottom, which is good for my viewers. And yeah, so yeah, come check me out. You can also join Coach's Corner on Telegram. Sorry, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I haven't slept yet, but come on Telegram at Coach's Corner. I post lots of free stuff, free content, and you can learn and join me on the journey, because it's a lot of fun and we're all getting started. And I mean, it may feel sometimes like you're missing it, but it's really at the bottom. Like we're not even close to where we can go. The potential is there. And I know we've all been saying this for 2 years and a lot of people have kind of lost the belief, but we're really about to get to that point. It's just patience and understanding that, you know, everyone's talking about it for a reason, especially in the government side of things. So yeah.
Awesome. And then Bill, any last words to our audiences?
You know what? I'm grateful to be here. I'm so glad I made it to crypto, and everybody is right. All right. The first time that like US dollar coin, right, from the Fed pops into a wallet, you know, we'll say that, hey, remember back when we were doing those videos, right? So thanks for having me on the show. I can't thank you enough. So
Same.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
And thank you, everybody. Coach K, Crypto Love, Bill, all our audiences. I mean, we're definitely in a special time in history, because looking back, kind of as Bill mentioned, we'll all say, wow, we were early in crypto. Because right now it feels like we're late. But I know when I got into crypto in 2016, by 2017, I thought I was late. Right? I got into crypto 4 years ago and I thought I was late. Then I recall it was during Consensus Week. I was at a bar. This was with the CEO of Siacoin, David, and there was this other guy from LA. He launched his crypto hedge fund, and we're there having drinks. And I told him, hey, you know what? I feel like I'm late to this. And he told me when he got into crypto, I think it was around 2014, 2013. This is the guy who invested in Ethereum ICO. When he got in, he thought he was late. So he told me, you know what, Ian, you're never late. We are very, very early. Like you have no idea how early we were, because he thought he was late. And I thought I was late when I got in. And now when I see people, I'm telling them, we are still very early. I mean, like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So, I mean, to anybody, if you're here now in crypto, pat yourself on the back, put in the work, do the research, right? Join our channels for just more content, more research. Coach K, Crypto Love, Bill and I, Tokenmetrics.com. And I mean, if you're in the right place at the right time, that's where most of the gains are. I mean, honestly, you don't even have to be a rocket scientist, right? If you just find the right, I mean, it's kind of like sports, right? Sometimes if you're on the same team with Michael Jordan, right, then you're probably gonna do pretty well, all right?
Yep.
So to me, that's kind of the same thing. Like if you're in the right place at the right time with the right people, right, it will be very hard not to make money, right? And then obviously, we can't guarantee gains, but if you're early and you have the right support structure, the right resources around you, you can definitely change your life. So with that being said, it's been great having everybody. And as we like to end the show, the moon is not the limit, to the moon and beyond. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, crypto family.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
It was a blast.
Much love, everyone.